Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 6th grade concept of area and volume. This is 6.8D Readiness Practice, the advanced version. If you are interested in exploring the 6.8D Readiness Practice for the intermediate or proficient versions, or the Readiness Practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So first we have a composite shape here. We have a rectangular section and a trapezoidal section. So let's draw a rectangle here. And let's say this is going to be the rectangular part, and it's going to be 4 feet long, and it's going to be 2.5 feet wide. And then we've got a trapezoidal section, and it's got a shorter base of 2.5 feet, so it's going to match this side. And then it's going to have a height of 1.5 feet, and then it's going to have a longer base of 6 feet. So we'll say it looks kind of like this, almost like a fish. So that's 6 feet. And then we've got a height. So if I'm going to draw the height, I'm not going to hit one of the slant heights because that doesn't quite count. I need a height that's perpendicular to the base. This is my height of 1.5 feet. All right, so I've got two different parts. What I want to do is I want to find the volume of each, or the area of each. And then add those together, we'll get our total area of the entire banner. So my area here is going to equal length times width. So I've got 2.5 times 4. And you might be able to do that in your head. If not, that's just going to be 10 feet, right? So think of $2.50. 4 sets of that's going to get you $10. So that's going to get 10 square feet. And so we'll just kind of put that in there. Now, the area of the trapezoid is a little bit different, right? That's going to be 1/2, and then I've got my two bases, the sum of my two bases, times my height. So that's going to be 1/2. One base is 2.5 feet. The other base is 6 feet. And then my height is 1.5 feet. So we're definitely ending with a decimal here. So I'm going to say 1/2 of 8.5 times 1.5. I can go ahead and multiply those two in my head. So that's just going to be 0.75 times 8.5. So let's do a little multiplication there. So 0.75, 8.5, and that is going to get me 25. That's 35. That's 37. We're going to deal with our decimals later. That's going to be 40. That's going to be 56 and then 60. So 63.75. I need 1, 2, 3 digits behind the decimal, so 6.375. So 6.375, and then this is going to be square feet. Now, adding these together is actually going to be pretty easy because you can almost do that mentally. So we'll say combined area equals, because I'm just adding 10 to my 6.375. So I can just say it's 16, because that's what that 10 and that 6 is going to give me. 0.375 feet squared. And so that is my answer for problem number 1. Problem number 2, we have a bakery pan, and it's going to be in a right rectangular prism. All right, so let's just go ahead and draw a right rectangular prism. And then we're going to draw a top base right here that's going to kind of mimic what we have down at the bottom. And then we'll draw some lines to connect here. We'll make this back one dotted. And there we go. So that's going to be our right rectangular prism. And so we've got a base, we'll have a length that is 1.5 times its width. So interesting. So the width of the base is 8. So I'm going to make this 8 cm. And then the length is 1.5 times that. So I'm going to say 1.5 times 8. And then the height is going to be 6.5. So it's just going to be regular length times width times height. I've just got to do a little bit of extra work to get that 1.5 times 8. So what I can do is I can just substitute, right? My length is going to be 1.5 times 8. Multiply that by 8. That's the width. And then multiply that by 6.5. And then we just need to do a whole bunch of multiplication. So let's do 1.5 times 8. And then that is going to be 40. That's going to be 12. Add that decimal there. So 12. All right. So I got 12. I could do 12 times 8, right? That's 96 times my 6.5. So it ends up not being too bad. 96, 6.5. That's going to be 30. 45, 48. And that's 36. 54, 57. And let's just add it up. 0, 14, that's 11, that's 12, 6. And I got one digit behind the decimal, so it ends up being a whole number. So that's going to equal 624 cubic centimeters. I could put centimeters with a 3 exponent, or I can write it out like this, cubic centimeters. Either one of those will work to notate your units. For our third problem, we need to draw and write 5 equations for five different shapes. All right, so let's start simple. We're looking for 36, right? Hopefully we're thinking, okay, that's easy. That's a square. So let's make a square. And so this is going to be 6 inches, 6 inches. So area equals side times side. So area equals 6 times 6. Now we can also do a rectangle. So let's do a long and skinny rectangle. And there's a lot of ways to make 36. Let's just do 4 inches and 9 inches. So your area equals length times width. So area equals 9 times 4. We could also draw, and I don't have an automatic shape for this, so I'll have to freehand this one, a parallelogram. So if I wanted to do a parallelogram like this, and let's see if we can get it to look normal. Okay, now we do need to go ahead and draw in our height, but the area is going to equal length times width. All right, so let's say this was a height of 3 and a base of 12 inches. So we can say area equals 12 times 3. Those three are going to get us 36 inches. Now, we could also do a triangle. Now, this one's a little bit trickier because my area is going to equal 1/2 my base times height. So what I need to do is that my base and my height need to get double of what I need. So can take half of it to get down to 36. So what is double 36? That's going to be 72. So I need two numbers that are going to get me to 72. And so I can do 8 times 9. Let's see, I could do 4 times 18. Let's do that. Let's do 4 inches. And let's say this is 18 inches. So area is going to equal 1/2 4 times 18. And if you think about it, right, half of 4 is 2. So 2 times 18, boom, you got your 36. Now I need one more. You can also draw a trapezoid. So a trapezoid, remember, is the area equals, like a triangle, 1/2. You simply add the two bases. So same thing. I want my two bases added together with my height. This right here needs to equal 72 because I need to take half of that to get down to 36. So let's make this number 12. which means what times 12? And you know what? Let's not make that 12 just because that's visually not what I was looking for. It would make more sense if this were 12 and this were 6. 6 times 12 gets me 72. I take half of that, I've got 36. So let's make my base sub 1, I don't know, let's make it 5 inches. Let's make this 7 inches. Let's make my height 6 inches. I might not have drawn it to scale, but the numbers work because then what I would do is I would say my area equals 1/2. I've got 5 plus 7, that makes 12. Multiply that by 6, and I get 12 times 6 is 72. I take half of that, I get down to my 36. Now, definitely, answers may vary on this one. If you are interested in exploring the 6.8D readiness practice for the intermediate or proficient version, or the readiness practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.